Hey everybody, we are live, and I'm sorry that I'm a little late starting this live stream. It's just been a busy morning, but happy Valentines to all of you, and I hope that you're having a wonderful day. And I hope you got to see my Valentine, both for Hallmark's podcast and for my personal. I had a lot of fun designing them this year, and it's a tradition that I have. It's the 12th year that I've done Valentine's, and I really enjoyed doing it, and so it was fun. So I hope you all got to see that. And today for this live stream, we are going to be ranking the 41 romances of 2023 as far as romantic films. And there are a couple caveats to this list. First, I didn't include what I consider genuine TV movies. So if it's something that's just on Hallmark Channel or one of the other channels, then I didn't include it. If it's something that was on streaming, but it felt cinematic to me, then I did include it, like Red, White, and Royal Blue or Shotgun Wedding or something like that. So I did include those. Also, I didn't include where it's just a side part of the story, where it's not the full main point of the plot. So there are a lot of movies that have a romance in them, have somebody getting married or falling in love, but I didn't think that it really was a romance. Something like Poor Things was one that I debated, and there's a couple others that I was like, I don't know. I didn't end up including Poor Things because of this, but also for other reasons. And then the other caveat that I had is I did not include any toxic relationships. So, like, you could say that Killers of the Flower Moon is technically about a relationship between these two people, but it's completely toxic. So I just thought, how can I rank that? Like, what? I didn't include something like Fair Play. It was about a toxic relationship, things like that. So that's the caveats going in. I came up with the 41. I'll give you a link to the list if you want to make your own ranking. If you want to make your own list, I would love to see what you think. And this is, as always, with any ranking, this is just my opinion. It's not the be all and all. You're not wrong if you disagree with any of these. We just have different experiences, and that's what makes it fun. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. I also have the super chat open. I have the chat room open. So if you want to submit a question, I would love that. And let's go ahead and get started. So at number 41, I have Ghosted. Now, this movie I kind of avoided because everyone I knew said it was so terrible, and so I didn't see it. But then I had to see it for doing this ranking, and I was like, well, maybe I'll like it better than others because I tend to like romantic comedies, but it is the bottom of my list. I don't think that the two had much chemistry. The story, the main problem with this movie is that it was trying to be like a night and day, like an action rom-com, but it was so unpleasant. It was really violent. It just wasn't fun. There was just very little like comedic banter. It's just not like a charade or like I said, night and day or that kind of a film, which I love. This is just unpleasant. I really did not enjoy it at all. And like I said, I didn't think that they had chemistry. The writing was really bad. And it was just like, when is this going to be over? I really, really think they missed the mark on the tone that they were going to for this movie. And people are saying, oh, it feels like it was done by AI. Well, in this case, it kind of was. They were trying to make something that would hit all the algorithms. And, I get that, but what's so strange about that is that if they were trying to do that, why did it become so unpleasant? That's the strangest part to me. So I don't know. I just really didn't enjoy it. So that's number 41. Number 40 is About My Father. This was a comedy that came and went that nobody really saw. I really didn't enjoy it. It is a romantic comedy. It's about this guy who has this over the top father, his father's a hairdresser, and he's just really free and loose with his opinion. He's played by Robert De Niro, and this guy starts to date this woman, and who's from like a country club family, elite family, and so he reaches the point he's going to propose. He takes his dad to meet his fiance, his hopeful fiance, and her family. And this thing just it did not make me laugh, and that's the main problem. And there were a lot of things that were just in really poor taste, and so it was just again unpleasant. This was very unpleasant. And there's a point where the character, Robert De Niro's character, cooks the family's peacock and serves it to them. This is their like pet. I thought that was really, really bad, like really in poor taste. We're supposed to like this character, like oh no, no, thank you. It just wasn't funny. That's the biggest problem. At 39, I have You People. This is another one that I had heard wasn't very good, but I had put it off seeing it until making this list. And it's a shame because I actually think the two leads have a good rom-com in them. And I like the fact that they are approachable leads. They look like normal people as opposed to movie stars, which I think is cool. But it's Jonah Hill and Lauren London. But this movie is just trying too hard. It's trying too hard to score sort of political points and be woke. I mean, this is one where you can really use that criticism because nobody talks like this. Nobody, it is so like wrapped up in politics all the time that's all they care about, and that's like the focus of all of their conversations. In fact, most of the time people would avoid those conversations like the plague, that I know at least. And so everything just rings so false, and you're just like, nobody is like this. This is just so phony. And when it's so phony, it just isn't funny. And so it was, I mean, it's such a shame because boy, a lot of talent going to waste. Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Eddie Murphy, Jonah Hill, it's people that can and have been funny. This just wasn't funny at all to me. No, thank you. And I feel like we've done this so many times, this Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, Meet the Parents kind of a thing, that you really have to bring something new to the table, because this is not a revolutionary concept of like, oh, it's a mixed race couple. Yeah, okay. Then just be funny. Funny saves all. So then at 38, I have my introduction to the After series. This is After Everything. And it's not really fair for me to like give a score for this because I haven't seen any of the others. And so it's kind of bizarre to come in at the fifth movie. But boy, this didn't make me want to see the others. I'll tell you that, because this guy Harden, he is just such an entitled brat. I did not like him at all. There's a point in this movie where he gets beat up pretty bad. And I was like, I'm on the other guy's side, not on him, because he was so entitled. He was so annoying. He was so horrible to these women. Like, I don't understand what these women see in him. I mean, I guess he's cute, but this is the 2024 bad boy. I mean, come on. Youth of today, you can do better than this. This is not good. It wasn't even that sexy. Like there was only really two sex scenes in the movie, and one of them was he was videotaping without consent, or I guess she had consented, but not that it would get distributed anyway. So it's sort of icky, and so I just don't understand the appeal of this guy Harden in these After movies. Maybe watching the other ones, it will win me over. I don't know, but this was not good. Okay, 37, I have Your Place or Mine. And this was a big bummer because I thought it looked like it had a ton of potential. And I think that Ashton Kutcher and Reese Witherspoon could have chemistry, but I feel like Reese Witherspoon is overthinking these rom-coms. I just, the last like 3 or so that she's been in, 3 or 4, have been trying too hard to kind of account for the fact that relationships are hard and not as clean cut as a rom-com. We all know that. That's not why we watch rom-coms, Reese. We watch rom-coms for the escapism. We understand that they aren't like realistic and that relationships are hard. I get that. And I guess anything can be good with good writing, but I really feel like she's missing the mark in this, and especially with this one because they weren't together like at all. It's like trying to do the holiday, but like have them get together instead of meeting other people. And like the people that they meet when they're swapped were better than and had better chemistry than the two of them. And I mean, especially when you have Jesse Williams over in New York, who is just, whew, he is so handsome. This just didn't work at all. And I didn't like it. So it was very disappointing. And I don't know, she's just missing the mark. 36, I have Shotgun Wedding. I really disliked this one. And I never realized how many like subpar, mid to bad wedding movies that Jennifer Lopez has been in, which is kind of random. You know, with the Wedding Planner and Now Marry Me and Shotgun Wedding and there was a bunch. Like that's really random. And Marry Me is definitely a lot better than this. But this just it was again trying to do that sort of kind of like with Ghosted, trying to do that action romance blend and just not being funny, trying to be kind of over the top and trying to be kind of violent. I don't know if they're trying to appeal to men with these movies, but if you're going to do it, you have to do it with better jokes and better action and better chemistry. I mean, none here at all. I mean, Josh Duhamel and Jennifer Lopez. It was not good. Okay, then we have at 35, Beautiful Disaster. So this I guess is this one was my introduction to this franchise. I guess there's another one that came out this year, and it's Bad Boy Travis, Dylan Sprouse. Which between the two twins, I'm definitely Team Cole, not Team Dylan. I mean, I'm sure they're both very nice people, but as far as their movies, I've been more impressed with Cole's movies. And this one, it has. I appreciate that it does have a bit of a sense of humor. It's not taking itself as seriously as the After movie that I watch, so I like that. But it was really strange as far as the sexiness. Like, what? There's one scene where they finally have their big kiss, and she literally vomits on him, like. And then another sex scene was so awkward where like she kind of finishes before him, and I don't know, it's just like it's like they were doing all they could to make it like not sexy, which I thought was a strange choice for this kind of movie. And then the last like 45 minutes of the movie just goes off the rails where she is like ends up being involved with this kingpin in Vegas and like she ends up kind of being a stripper. Like it just was crazy. I don't know, but I do appreciate that it was trying to be a little bit funny. At 34, I have She Came to Me. This one should have been way better with the cast. You have Peter Dinklage, Anne Hathaway, Marissa Tomei. So great cast, and it's basically he is this opera composer, and one day, kind of out of the blue, because he's blocked, he's not able to write. Kind of out of the blue, he has a fling with Marissa Tomei, even though he's married to Anne Hathaway. And Anne Hathaway is like very structured, and she's a psychiatrist. And Marissa Tomei plays this like tugboat captain who's like very free spirited and kind of insane. And it doesn't make sense that this character would do this. It's from all that we've seen, aside from the fact that he's blocked, like their marriage, I think, is pretty okay. But he literally just throws away like his whole life, like on a whim, like for nothing. It's so like I just didn't buy that his character would do that, and so then it makes the whole movie a struggle because I'm not believing the characters or the dialogue, and it certainly wasn't funny. And so that was the problem, is it was just not believable, the characters' choices in those moments, what they would do. And and then you also have this relationship between the between you have this younger relationship too, uh, that is all drama, between Anne Hathaway's uh, there, I forget, is this Anne Hathaway's daughter? Anyway, you have this other younger relationship that's having all this drama. Neither I believed, neither worked for me. It was not successful. Then we have Magic Mike's Last Dance, and this one, they do have pretty good chemistry, and that's why it's higher than these other ones. And it is pretty hot. uh, so there you go. But the story and the plot, like, I mean, who's turning into Magic Mike's Last Dance for the plot? But I mean, if you're only here for the sexiness, then there's other stuff you can watch. You want a story, at least, that's somewhat compelling. But they did have pretty good chemistry, so at least there's that. And then, there's some steamy scenes. So, what are you going to do? That's what I have at 33. At 32, I have Somebody I Used to Know. And I wasn't putting this off, but I just hadn't gotten to watch it. But I thought the poster made it look really appealing. And I'm like, oh, these two are going to have great chemistry. This is going to be good. But unfortunately, it just wasn't. I actually didn't think that they ended up having very good chemistry. And it was one of those movies that talks so much about other movies and is so obviously like aping other movies, that it's just like, why wouldn't I just watch that movie? Why would I watch this? And they kept talking and specifically mentioning My Best Friend's Wedding. There's a point where the fiance says, "Oh, are you gonna my best friend's wedding me?" And it's just like, I would just rather watch My Best Friend's Wedding than watch this. That's better in every way. So yeah, the script, it just wasn't great, and the chemistry wasn't there, and yeah. So then at 31, I have Maybe I Do. This movie like came and went, and nobody like heard about it or anything. And this, but it has this amazing cast. It's got Emma Roberts, Luke Bracey, Diane Keaton, Richard Gere, Susan Sarandon, William H. Macy. Like an incredible cast. But the reason it didn't go anywhere is because I didn't find that any of these, because it's all about these different couples that don't know they're connected, but it's trying to do like a Love Actually kind of a thing, where people are connected but they're not, not really connected. But I just didn't buy any of these relationships. It did feel, I guess this is based on a play that the screenwriter adapted his own play, and you can feel that. You can feel that it feels like a play, and it might be more compelling as a play, but you have to feel some certain degree of authenticity when you're watching a film. That the conflict, and even if it's silly, even if it's a comedy, which this isn't really a comedy. This is more of a dramedy maybe. But especially with this incredibly talented cast, you just would expect them to give them more to do. And it's supposed to have this, great banter between these different couples and flipping back and forth, but everything just felt super phony to me, and I didn't buy it. So it was a missed opportunity, that's for sure. At number 30, I have No Hard Feelings. And this was a tough one to decide if I should include it, because it is kind of a toxic relationship, and it's also kind of not really is it a romance? Is it not a romance? I don't know. It has sort of the beats of like a raunchy rom-com. I mean, they don't end up together. So I don't know. It was one I really struggled with. Back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. But whatever, I decided to include it because it is kind of about this relationship. And I think that Jennifer Lawrence deserves a lot of credit for just going for it with this. She really tries, and she's stunning and gorgeous. And I did like Andrew Barth Feldman. He was really, really sweet and charming, and but I just didn't really like the story. I mean, the idea that these parents are going to try to get this woman to seduce their son. I I didn't, the premise I don't enjoy. But the thing is that I didn't buy for a second that he would want to spend another moment with this person. Yeah, she's like beautiful, but like at the very beginning, he pepper sprays her, and then like in the blink of an eye, he's like, "Well, let's go to dinner." It didn't make any sense. Like, she was still kind of attacking it. Like his changeover to sort of wanting to be connected with her did not make any sense for him and his character. Like, yes, she's beautiful, but I still don't think that was enough of a reason for him to want to have anything to do with this person. And he seemed like a pretty confident kid, actually. And so, yeah, it just, I don't know. I understand why some people enjoyed it, but I just don't think the premise and the character choices made any sense. At number 29, I have Love in Taipei. This is like cute enough about this girl who goes to Taipei. She goes to the school and she has all these adventures, and she ends up meeting these two boys. And so there's sort of this love triangle. But the biggest problem that I had with this movie is that one of the boys is played by Ross Butler. He's 32 and he looks every bit of it. He's way older than the lead. I forget how old she was, but he's in his 30s, and it just looked weird to me to have this young girl with this obviously much older man. The other guy I think is closer, is younger, but this Ross Butler, it looked weird, and so that just took me out of it, because it's not a plot point. He's supposed to be like a student and everything, and I'm like, there's no world where this guy is the same age as this girl or near it. And so I don't know, that was the big problem. But like, it's cute enough for teens and stuff. They'll probably enjoy it. At number 28, I have Napoleon, which is like really weird to have on this list. And I guess maybe you could say it's a toxic relationship, but like, not really. I mean, it's actually like pretty consistent between the two of them. And, he has to make the decision to divorce her in order to have an heir, but he doesn't even end up keeping his crown. I mean, I just did not expect this movie to be a romantic comedy, basically. I mean, it was so bizarre. Napoleon's behavior, the way that the way that he acts was just like, what? I don't know. I thought the characterization in the script was so strange. And it really tried to paint him as this like kind of a buffoon, but also was this like heartthrob. I don't know. It was so weird. And there are some pretty good battle scenes, and I think that Vanessa Kirby is quite good, and I think they have like decent chemistry. But his characterization, and I know he's kind of a weird dude in real life, but I don't know. I just thought it was so many strange choices for Napoleon to make it this sort of puff piece about him was very weird. But it was a romance technically. Number 27, I have Anyone But You. I think that if you're just looking for some romantic comedy that's like decent enough, this is like fine. But my problem was I just didn't think that Sydney Sweeney was very good. I thought she was really wooden, really flat, and that hurt the chemistry for me. I know they had like a relationship in real life and whatever, and Glenn Powell is just a beautiful human, so I enjoyed watching him, but I just thought she was very, very flat. It did not work for me, and a lot of the humor didn't work for me. A lot of times when they go really broad in these movies, it doesn't work. I don't like it. It's tough to pull off. I mean, every once in a while you're going to have your Father of the Bride, your My Big Fat Greek Weddings that pull off that kind of broad humor, but it's tough. It's tough to do, and I don't think it really worked here. But the supporting cast is pretty fun. It's escapism in Australia. It's got the most successful parts of the movie are when it is actually paying homage to Much Ado About Nothing. I wish they'd had even more of that and done more of it. So yeah, it's not great, but whatever. Then 26, I have Stars Fell Again. This is actually a sequel. The Stars Fell on Alabama. I interviewed both of the leads for that movie. I interviewed Sarah Hannah. So that was fun over at Hallmarkies. This I actually think is a little bit better than the first movie, which was trying too hard to be like a raunch fest. And this isn't really that worried about that. And you have a sort of a secondary relationship with her sister who is getting married, but she has this BFF who's in love with her. So there's sort of a dynamic there. And that worked, I thought, pretty well. And you have this main couple trying to decide, should we get married? Should we not get married? It was cute enough, this movie. 25 is where I have Love Again. And a lot of people really hated this movie, and I totally understand why. The chemistry isn't that great. And Priyanka Chopra Jones is not the best actress. So that's what it has going against it. But I actually liked kind of the Celine Dion elements, her playing kind of fairy godmother. And I thought it tried to have some like heart to it. And there were some cute little flirty moments between them. I had enough fun with it. It's not a masterpiece by any means. But there we go. Number 24, I have My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3. I wish they just stopped with the first one. I love that. It's one of my favorite rom-coms. This one was better than the second one, so I give it some credit for that. I liked the sort of family dynamics in Greece and some of the humor, and it was like pleasant enough to sort of escapism to be in Greece with these people and enjoying sort of their family and everything than the compared to the second one. But there we go. Number 23 is where I have What Happens Later. I was hoping that this movie would be better because this is Return of Meg Ryan. She's directing it. There's another one that's based off of play, and I don't know if the play kind of works better, but they had wonderful chemistry, Meg Ryan and David Duchovny. There were some really, really nice moments between the two of them, some nice banter. There were nice winks to Nora Ephron and to some of Meg Ryan's previous films. But it felt like it felt phony too at a lot of points. I didn't buy that Meg Ryan was this like former hippie and sort of. It also felt like it ended, I think, 4 or 5 times, and I was like, oh, it keeps going. It was weird that way. So yeah, it didn't quite come together, but it had nice elements, and I hope she keeps making movies. Then at 22, I have Book Club, The Next Chapter. This was perfectly pleasant. See these ladies go to Italy. That was the big thing this year. Everything was in Italy. And their various shenanigans, their various love interests. I had fun with it. There's not a ton going on here, but these ladies have chemistry together, and seeing Andy Garcia, Don Johnson, Craig T. Nelson, these hunky older guys, that was fun. I liked seeing Italy. It was enjoyable. 21, I have Puppy Love. I really enjoyed Grant Gustin's character. He was quirky, he was funny, he was weird, very strange, and I appreciated that about him. I don't think that they had the best chemistry, but like the fact their puppies are in love, their dogs are in love was like a cute premise to get them to be together. And so, yeah, it's not like a masterpiece or anything, but I had enough fun with it, with the premise and his performance and character. Okay. Then 20, I have Elemental. And I know that might be controversy or to have it so low, but I just thought this movie felt really generic to me. The animation is beautiful, and I give credit for that. Of course, it's Pixar; it's going to be beautiful. But I didn't think that the script was very good. I thought that they spent a lot of time like running around getting permits and fighting and not. I don't know, I just didn't think there was like this genuine connection between the two. I didn't really understand why all of a sudden she like turned against her dad, what her dad had done. I didn't really get that. And so that was, I don't know, I just didn't think the characters were very good, and I just feel like I've seen this movie 100 times. So, it didn't do much for me, and so I have it at 20. At number 19, I have One True Loves, and I think that a lot of people won't like this movie. It's very soapy, it's very melodramatic, but I think that if you are a Hallmark movie fan, I think that you might actually like this, and you should check it out because it was pretty entertaining. I enjoyed it. I understand why it has such a low score. I understand why most people wouldn't like, but I think if you're in that sort of niche where you like Hallmark movies, I think you should maybe try this. Beautiful people, got this drama of her like her losing her husband, and he gets lost, and Luke Bracey is so hot, so great, and she ends up getting this relationship um, with Simu Lee, and then of course the husband ends up getting found, coming back, and we've seen this plot a bit, and it's a little sometimes a little bit more silly. I think is it, I can't remember what the name. There's one with Doris Day, it can be really fun. This definitely goes for the drama of it, and it can be over the top. But I liked these characters. I liked their connection, their chemistry. I liked the ending. I don't know. I just overall like if you're looking for a piece of soap opera, this is pretty good. I think example of it. You don't see those kind of movies that much anymore, so I enjoyed it. Number 18, I'm not sure whether to include this or not because it is, I don't think it's gotten a release yet, wide release, but it was just at the festival. This was called Peak Season. And I saw this at South by Southwest, and it was really good. So keep an eye out for it. It's about this woman who goes to Yellowstone and on this vacation with her fiance. Her fiance is like super, super busy, and she starts spending all this time with this mountain guide, fishing guide, and he's like a vagabond kind of guy. He lives out of his car, that thing, and it's just totally different than the guy that's she's dating, that her fiance, who's like a business guy. And normally I don't really like infidelity and that kind of a thing, and this is more like a what could be kind of a thing. They don't really explore that too much as far as infidelity. So it ended up just actually being like a really sweet little movie about connecting with nature and connecting with each other. And so keep an eye out for it. I enjoyed it. Number 17, I have All of Us Strangers. And I didn't like this movie as much as other people. I just couldn't really connect with this, emotionally connect with Andrew Scott's character and this sort of dynamic between he and his parents, who he had lost at a young age, and I don't know, I wanted to really enjoy it because I love Andrew Hay. He's one of my favorite directors, but there again, it just felt a little phony to me. I didn't emotionally connect with, maybe because they were the same age as him now, and so maybe it would have been better if he had gone back to being a child and had these conversations with his parents, and like maybe in an alternate, like in a dream or something. Maybe that would have worked better. I don't know, just something about it. It just didn't quite work for me, but it's very well acted, very well done, as far as, all the movie making side of it. And if you are able to emotionally connect with it, then I think you'll love it. So that's why I have it so high. At number 16 is where I have The Other Zoe. This was a cute movie about this um, this woman who pretends to be this other woman, and there's this famous soccer star, and then she basically like gets amnesia and she forgets who she is, and then I don't know, like I'm trying to remember everything about it. So she gets so this movie is she's pretending to be the this other woman, and there's all this mistaken identity, and they go back and forth, and it was funny, it was cute. I liked the leads. I watched it when I was watching like so many movies last fall, so it's all a little fuzzy, but I remember thinking it was enjoyable. Number 15 is where I have At Midnight. I really enjoyed this. This is kind of like a take on the Notting Hill kind of a thing, where this guy, he works at this hotel, and this movie star comes, they're shooting this movie, and they first interact. He's just, working at the hotel. But turns out they have like more and more connection the more time they spend together. And I really like the two leads, Monica Barbeau and Diego Boneta. It's directed by Jonah Feingold, and I got to interview him for Hallmarkies podcast. And he really gets romantic comedies, I think, well. And so then we have number 14. I have What's Love Got to Do with It. This was underrated, underappreciated, I think. This stars Lily James and Shazad Latif, and his character, he has basically decided, okay, I'm going to go through with an arranged marriage because he's just frustrated, and she's like his best friend. And of course, like she comes to realize, oh, maybe I feel more for this person than I thought. She's kind of friend zoned him, and then she has to see him kind of pursue this arranged marriage. And I don't know, I thought it was funny. I liked both the leads. I thought it was charming, and it's got Emma Thompson in it, and that's always good. Yeah, I liked the whole cast. I think this one's underappreciated. Number 13 is where I have Aristotle and Dante discover the secrets of the universe. I think this is a very sweet movie. I can definitely see how the book is better and why people that love the book were a little disappointed, because a lot of it happens like within their head. There's a lot of narration, and I can see how, and there's letters, a lot of letters back and forth, and I can see how that's more effective as a book than as a movie. And I think they changed things quite a bit around and for the movie. But I still thought it had a big heart. It was very sweet. Some of the acting is not the best in this, but I liked the chemistry between the leads, Max Palejo and Reese Gonzalez. And I thought that it was filmed with it was very pleasing as far as to look at, the way it was filmed, cinematography, stuff like that. So it's flawed, it's not perfect, but it had a big heart, and overall I enjoyed it. So okay. So then we have at number 12, A Tourist Guide to Love. I really enjoyed this. This is very basic. It's very, simple rom-com. But this woman, she like works for a tourism company, and they're interested in buying out this other company, the small company in Vietnam. So she goes over there, she takes the tour, but they doesn't tell anybody that she's there, sort of they're going to buy the company. And of course there's this hunky guy who owns the company, and Scott Lee, and the lead is Rachel Lee Cook. And this is just your escapist fun rom-com. They have good chemistry, and you get to see beautiful Vietnam and all the food and the things. So this is very basic, but I think enjoyable. I had a good time with it. And then at number 12, I have a tourist guide. Wait, number 12 is, oh, sorry. Number 11 is where I have The Little Mermaid. And I did not think that I would enjoy this movie as much as I did, because I haven't been a big fan of these remakes. I didn't, and Little Mermaid is one of my favorites. There were a lot of things I didn't like about it. I wasn't a big fan of the changes to Ursula, how they did that. I didn't think that the visuals looked very good. Some of the other changes to the story I didn't love, but I thought that Hallie was wonderful in the lead. I loved her voice, was so good. And I think that her and Eric had great chemistry. And if I were Disney, I would have sold this. If I were Disney, I would have sold this movie on it being a rom-com. Their chemistry was so good. The fact that they were both collectors and they enjoyed learning about history and kind of were both dreamers. They had such a connection, and so I thought that worked really well. I loved Jonah King. He was so good, I thought, in the role. I liked his song, and it just made the movie work for me. I ended up actually enjoying it. I would say it's one of the stronger of the Disney remakes, in my opinion. Okay, number 10 is where I have Journey to Bethlehem. And you might not think that this is a romance, but it actually is. They really lean in to the romance between Joseph and Mary. They kind of make it into almost a romantic comedy, if you believe it. They meet they have a meet cute at the town market before they're going to be married. And really, I mean, there are some biblical things that there are some ways that they enhance the biblical story. But as far as Joseph and Mary's relationship, they did have a beautiful love story. I mean, he could have had her killed. He could have had her stoned. And he chose to marry her for, if you believe it was because of the angel, if you believe for whatever reason, like he could have abandoned her. So there is a great love story in there. And so I think it's kind of cool that they decided to expand upon that and talk about it. And I loved both of the leads in this, Fiona Palomo and Milo Manheim. Great. I also really loved Antonio Banderas as Herod. He camps it up, super fun. I think the songs in general were fun and they were creative. And this was just much better than I expected it to be. I think that they were like really pushing their audience to do something like creative and special. And I think it's one of the stronger faith-based films in a while. I really do. And I did get to interview Adam Anders, the director. So that was super cool over at Hallmarkies. Number 9 is where I have Love at First Sight. This is another one that is very basic. We've seen this many times before, but I think it was executed really well. These two have a meet cute at the airport, and they have this connection. She's going over to England to see her dad get married, remarried. She's kind of conflicted about that. And he's also got this funeral that he's going to, but it turns out it's like a funeral, even though his mom hasn't died yet, but she's got cancer. And that sounds fun in theory to have people say they love you while you're still there. I get that, but I actually think it's kind of cruel, to make your family kind of go through that and feel like they're losing you before they've actually lost you. And so I don't know. It really made me realize, like, oh, that's actually not a good idea, I don't think. And so you felt bad for this character. He was very endearing. You wanted him to be happy, and their chemistry was excellent. And Haley Lou Richardson and Ben Hardy, I really liked them, and so that was enough for me to enjoy this one. And number 8, I have Xmas. I really thought this was hilarious. I really enjoyed it. And I think the concept is very clever. The idea that, so they had been dating a long time. They were engaged. They broke up. He tells his family that he is not coming for Christmas. They run into her. And they're like, hey, well, why don't you come for Christmas? Which I totally believe that my family would do with somebody that one of their kids had dated for a long, long time and grown close to. If they knew for sure that the person wasn't coming, of course, then he ends up coming, which I just think is a really clever and funny premise for a rom-com. That's very funny. And the back and forth, I loved all the whole supporting cast. And another one with really good chemistry between Leighton Meester and Robbie Amell. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. This is also Jonah Feingold, who did Midnight, and I got to interview him for Hallmarkies podcast. And I just think he gets it. He understands screwball comedies, and this is as close as we've gotten to something like that in a long time. And I really enjoyed it. At number 7, I have Rye Lane. Really enjoyed this sweet little rom-com. I like the whole concept of these two that have both had their hearts broken, and they're spending the day together and realizing that they have this connection. And I loved both the leads, David Johnson and Vivian Opera. Great. There were cute moments in the script, like when they talk about the fact that if you don't wave at ships, you're a bad person. Something like that. So I liked the script. There were times when the sort of the R-rated moments fell a little flat to me, that some of the humor didn't work, but for the most part, this is a very sweet, lovely little movie, and it's well made. The cinematography, other things, well acted. So yeah, it's a very cute little movie. Number 6, I have You Hurt My Feelings, and this is a story about a married couple, so it's a little bit different as far as a romance. But she's this, Julia Louis-Dreyfus is so funny. She plays this woman who is kind of blocked. She's written these books, and she's an academic. Her father was an academic, and she's trying to write her new book. And her husband is a therapist, and she overhears him saying that he didn't like her book, and she's devastated. And so sort of this back and forth. I love Tobias Menzies. He was so funny as this therapist, and I really loved Amber Tamblyn and David Cross, who are married in real life, as two of his patients. They were hilarious. Just really thought it was funny. I really enjoyed it. We have some comments. We have Elemental for 2023 romance, and we have I like The Little Mermaid best. Very good. I only be posting comments that have to do with what we're talking about. So then we have at number 5, I have Past Lives, and I know a lot of people have this as their number 1. Totally get that. It's extremely well made. I have to say, when I saw this at Sundance, I was in agony the whole time, because I thought, oh my gosh, she's going to cheat on her husband. She's going to leave her husband for this guy that is somebody from her past, that in Korea, I believe it was. And I just loved her husband. I thought he was so nice. He was such a good guy. He was so kind and loving, and I just really found his performance endearing. And I thought they had a nice connection. John Magaro, I don't know if I've seen him in that much stuff, but I really loved him, and how he unconditionally loved her and was like willing to let her, have this experience. And of course, Greta Lee is excellent in the movie, and also TOU. But I can't put it higher because I was so uncomfortable the whole time. I'm just like, no. And then she doesn't. She makes the correct choice. Of course, she loves her husband. She's happy in her marriage, but she just has a moment where she thinks, this is the other life that I could have lived. And that was beautiful. And so it worked. I think it's a very good movie, but the experience watching it was like very stressful for me. And then at number 4, I have Fallen Leaves. This is a film out of Finland, and I really, really enjoyed it. It's about these two people who are kind of lonely. They work for a grocery store. They have kind of menial jobs like that. And they have their meet cute, and they spend the day together. They go on this date, and they go see The Dead Don't Die, which I hated that movie, which I thought was funny. I knew she's like, what is this movie? And I just loved the two of them. I really enjoyed the movie. It was very sweet, and it doesn't have like a ton of plot. It's sort of like Before Sunrise. It's more about the individual characters and their kind of banter together. And I just loved it. I thought it was wonderful. And number 3, I have Prom Pact. I think this is one of the best teen rom-coms in a long time. I really, really loved this one. I thought everybody was excellent. The whole cast. Milo Manheim is back in this, and he's like the BFF, and they made this prom pact. They don't have anyone else to go with, but he also has this crush on the basically like the prom queen, but he's the nerd. Monique A. Green is her character, and she was great. I really, really loved Peyton Elizabeth Lee and Blake Draper together. I thought they had incredible chemistry. He's like the jock, and she's also kind of the nerd. She wants to get into Harvard. His dad is like on the board at Harvard, so she agrees to tutor him to try to get in. But she's like, she's the one that's also judgmental in this case, not the popular one. She's the one. And of course, the more time they spend together, the more chemistry and everything. And I loved all the homages to 80s teen movies. I just think it's extremely well done. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Number 2, I have The Taste of Things. I absolutely loved this movie. This is out of France. It'll be too slow for some people. I understand that. But the chemistry between these two was amazing, between Juliette Binoche and Benoit Magamel. And the first like 25 minutes is just cooking. Like, this movie is like a love letter to food, and particularly French food. And it's extremely sexy, and their chemistry, their bond, they fall in love. These two cooks fall in love. It was just beautiful and romantic. And yeah, I just thought it was great. So then my number 1 is Red, White, and Royal Blue. I think this is one of the best rom-coms in years. I thought that they had amazing chemistry. I was really invested in both their characters. I loved the story. I really enjoyed the novel, so it was fun to see it adapted. I know they made some changes, but nothing that really like bothered me as far as the changes. But I thought that they had incredible chemistry, and I just really loved the story, and I thought the actors did a great job, and it was just heartwarming and fun, and I don't know what else you could want in a rom-com, to be honest. This was so good. Like, the major flaw was Uma Thurman's accent, but I liked her performance in the role. I liked her care for her son, and that she really loved her son, and all of that. I don't know. I just thought it was such a sweet little movie. I really enjoyed it. I watched it like 9 times. Watched it like 9 times last year. And so let's see here. So Jeremiah says, these all sound cute. Honestly, the only 22 through romances I've seen were Elemental and The Little Mermaid. I was very surprised by Elemental. My sister loved it, so then we all watched it together. It wasn't a masterpiece at all, but I honestly thought it was amusing, and the romance was reasonably well done and heartwarming. Fair enough. Cool. It very pretty to look at. Elemental is, the animation was very lovely. And I think, again, if I hadn't already seen Zootopia and Inside Out, and it just didn't do enough to kind of differentiate itself for me. But I can understand why you enjoyed it. So very, very good. So that's it. My favorite was Red, White, and Royal Blue. So yeah, we have Red, White, and Royal Blue, The Taste of Things, Prom Pact, Fallen Leaves, Past Lives, You Hurt My Feelings, Rye Lane, Xmas, Love at First Sight, Journey to Bethlehem, The Little Mermaid, A Tourist's Guide to Love, Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe, What's Love Got to Do with It, At Midnight, The Other Zoe, All of Us Strangers, Peak Season, One True Loves, Elemental, Puppy Love, Book Club, The Next Chapter, What Happens Later, My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3, Love Again, Stars Fell Again, Anyone But You, Napoleon, Love in Taipei, No Hard Feelings, Maybe I Do, Somebody I Used to Know, Magic Mike's Last Dance, She Came to Me, Beautiful Disaster, Shotgun Wedding, Your Place or Mine, After Everything, You People, About My Father, and Ghosted. So we got first timer on the live stream. Well, welcome. Sorry you're catching the end of it, but I hope you get to watch it and enjoy. But yeah, let me know what you think of this ranking and my selection and what I think about the films, and also doing more of these live streams. That if you have other ideas, other things you would like to see me rank, I would love to see that. Also, we started a new tier for the Patreon today, where if you want, you can have me rank. Me and Terry will rank your favorite rom-coms, or I would also do, if you want me and Stanford to rank your favorite animated films, we could do that too. So if you are interested, the Patreon has tons of fun benefits. It's well worth your while. And that is a new perk that you can have, that you can get your favorites ranked on my podcast or on Hallmarkies podcast. So check that out. I would really appreciate it. And make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate that. Check out Hallmarkies podcast. I will cover all romances there, all things rom-com over there. And I think you'll really enjoy the interviews. Like I said, I interviewed a lot of people that we talked about on here, like Jonah Feingold, Adam Anders, things like that. So check that out. And Jeremiah says I'll have to rewatch to see your thoughts on Magic Mike's Last Dance. All the best, Rachel. Have a good one. Yes, you'll definitely have to check that out. So there we go. That is my thoughts. So please, again, check out the Patreon, the merch store. I'm wearing one of our Valentine's designs from the merch store. So hope you all have a happy Valentine's. And thanks so much. We'll talk to you all later. Bye.